What's up, guys? Here we are, Chuck versus the Cougars. We learned a little backstory about Sarah. We've been asking for a little backstory. We finally get it this episode. Also, some good tunes back from the '90s. If you want a little nostalgia, just an overall good episode, in my opinion. And we will discuss that. But first off, thank you for listening. If you are listening right now, I really appreciate that. And hey, go Cougars. I'm not a big fan of that mascot, and I don't root for anybody named the Cougars. So, I mean, don't go Cougars, I guess. Don't go Cougars. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, thanks for listening, taking time out of your day, or just using free time that you have in your day to listen to me talk about a show that I really appreciate and care for because it's good TV. Good TV. So, let's jump right into the episode. So, like everyone here knows probably, we have the uh same segments to start each episode with hit of the episode and song of the episode. First, we'll do hit of the episode. A lot of bad guy fights in this one. Typical, or a little unusual, I guess you could say. There's not a lot of violence just at the end. I guess you could say there's some fighting at the beginning. There's some fighting at the end. It's a little spread out. It's fun. It's fun and it's not bad for the entire fan base. And there's a lot to choose from. Like I said, well, there's really only two to choose from. You have Casey knocking out the Russian bad guys in the bathroom, and you have Sarah beating the hell out of Heather in their cat fight. I assume it's called a cat fight in this situation. I'm not sure, but I'm going with cat fight in this situation. And that is a tough choice because Casey knocked out his bad guys pretty well, and Sarah's cat fight with Heather is pretty good. But I gotta give it to Sarah. She's got the hit of the episode, and it's really a kick. So it's really kick of the episode. But I'm considering kicks a hit. And when she kicks Heather into that trophy case, you knew it was over. She gets up or whatever, pulls out her gun, is gonna aim it, but you know, once you've been kicked into a trophy case, you're out of there. You done so. Except in those 80s action movies where the bad guy always gets kicked into the trophy case and he always wins. But in this case, you knew she was down for the count. Down for the count. Nothing could save her. Especially the Cougars. The Bronze Cougars. And that was ultimately her demise. The Cougar. And that's how Sarah becomes our winner this week. Congratulations, Sarah. Yvonne Strahovski playing Sarah Walker, if you just somehow listen to this, for being our hit of the episode for Chuck versus the Cougars. That's another one for Sarah. She's taken an early lead in this season for hit of the episode, and she's got a 2-hit lead on Chuck. Sarah's got 3 of the 4 episodes. She's just chugging right along. She might so far she's pitching not necessarily a shutout, but she's pitching no hitter right now. Get it? No hitter. I'm hilarious. Yeah, I'm hilarious. Anyway, so that is hit of the episode. Once again, congratulations, Yvonne Strahovski. You've won Chuck vs. the Cougars hit of the episode. Now we come across song of the episode, and there was a lot of solid picks, I would say, because you got a lot of the '90s nostalgia hits, which everybody loves. Everybody loved those '98 classics, and I mean, what are you gonna do? Those are hard not to pick. But I didn't pick them. That's right. I didn't pick them. I didn't pick him as song of the episode. Backstreet Boys, you fought hard, but you came up short. Hanson, you also fought hard, but you also came up short. That all these just they don't compare in my eyes to "Beautiful Disaster" by 311. That song when she's during the anger punch montage. Uh, it's a perfect song choice. It's a wonderful song in and of itself, and it's just it's just wholesome family fun for the whole family. Yeah, wholesome family fun for the whole family. Because I like repeating my points. But that's ultimately what I settled on. But like I said, Backstreet Boys, Hanson, you were close. You were a close second. You were like, Beautiful Disaster was at like 100. They were at like a 98. Really close. Really close. I almost picked them. I really thought about it. But I was like, I really like Beautiful Disaster by 311. It's just a catchy tune. Catchy tune, nice guitar riff. Can't really fight it. So, there you have it, folks. That's your song of the episode, Beautiful Disaster by 311. Congratulations. 311, you are this week's song of the episode. Maybe I should start like handing out like certificates, sending certificates to these bands and stuff. Just like, hey, congratulations, Chuck versus the Cougars, song of the episode. That's you, all day, every day. That'd be weird though. They'd be like, I don't know what's going on. I wouldn't blame them. It would be weird. But hey, I'm a thinker. Think outside the box. So, anyway, there you have it. That's song of the episode and hit of the episode. Good segments, good segments. So let's delve into the episode. And we start off with a little flashback to Sarah Walker's past, where we get the one song that I am not a big fan of. That's freaking Chumbawamba. I don't know what it is about Chumbawamba, but that song, I get knocked down. I used to like it. It's so annoying now to me. So I just can't take the song seriously. And that's what puts me off at the beginning of the episode. I mean, not really, because it's Chuck, and I really enjoy Chuck. But I mean, come on. I guess Chumbawamba would have been the quintessential high school song for a lot of people. So I guess it was a good choice. Anyway, Sarah pulls up. Someone she knows is getting arrested. As we find out later, it's her papa. But she's clearly upset that he's getting arrested. Which is, I mean, obvious. He wouldn't be upset that one of their parents gets arrested. I mean, common sense. So she goes. I guess they talked about it before, and he's like, "Hey, if I get arrested, go to this place," because she heads straight for that money. Goes out to the woods, finds that buried pile of cash. When Graham comes upon her, finds her, mentions that she's had a lot of aliases in her day, and that's weird. I mean, I know her dad. Well, we'll find that out later. I can't really. I won't go into detail there, but that is a lot of aliases for a high school student. So obviously she knows names really well. And yes, I am talking about the end of the episode too. I'm just gonna get this whole scene out of the way. But anyway, so Graham is like, "Hey, you want a job with the CIA? We can take care of you." And offers her knife back and is like, "Hey, you're now Sarah Walker." But I mean, come on. Does he just have names off the top of his head just ready to go? It's like at any moment in time someone could be recruited into the CIA and he's going to give them a name. Is that how it works? Cuz that's weird if that's how it works. How many names does he have on the top of his head just ready to go? Like, Ken Price. Red Wall, Stonewall. Just at some point he's just going to come up with the dumbest name ever and they're going to have to go with it cuz he's already said it. It's not a good way to do things. It's not a good way to do things. So that's what we get. I mean, so that's how Sarah joins the CIA. which is it's a good backstory. We needed. I don't say we needed some, but it helps to get some backstory on a major character who we previously didn't have any backstory on. I mean, that it's a good thing. We already had even some backstory for Casey, a little bit. So I mean, well, I guess we did have some backstory for Sarah with Bryce, but I mean, not like high school stuff, high school backstory, who she is, where she's from, stuff like that. So that's good. But after we see the flashback scene, we come back to the present moment, and Chuck's talking to Sarah, and she's buying something, and she's he's trying to talk to her about what they're having for dinner. And his talk with her at the Buy More in this episode at the beginning is just like, I don't know if like episodes got out of order in this case or what, but that whole breakup, I mean, my guess is episodes had to get out of order because their breakup talk was literally just the last episode, and Chuck was like, "Hey, no more, no more. Remember what I said? I love you and stuff, but I mean, we'll never work together. It would be a bad idea." And now it's like none of the words he said sunk in, and I mean, I'm almost certain that they probably just got the orders messed up for the episodes, but because I mean, like I said, the conversation just didn't seem to sink in at all. It's like nothing happened. It's like whatever he said just doesn't matter anymore. So, I mean, there's that, I guess. And they're talking. She pulls him away for some reason. He's like, I don't know what's going on. Why are you, why are you doing this to me? Turns out there's a bogey in the Buy More, and by bogey, I mean Nicole Richie, who plays Heather, a high school, I wouldn't say friend, high school classmate of Sarah's back in San Diego. And obviously, Nicole Richie has to play a bitchy character. That's just the role she was born to play. No offense, Nicole Richie, but you were kind of born to play the bitch role, and that's what you're doing in this one. But you play it well. I mean, kudos. You play the bitch well role. You play the bitch well role. You play the bitch role well. You're really sassy, and it works. But Sarah locks Chuck downstairs with this computer processor that he's been wanting to see forever. So he's messing around with it, and he's checking the cameras. Accidentally comes across his sister and Awesome in bed, which is weird. But he finally lays on Nicole Richie in the orange, talking to Sarah about their high school days. So what does Chuck do? He decides to insert himself into the conversation because he really enjoys to insert himself into conversations, but he does it in a loving and meaningful way. Also, just a little side note here, I am going to cover all of Team Bartowski and Chuck and Sarah stuff right now, and then I will do the Buy More at the end. And off the side note now. So Chuck decides to pry into Sarah's past because Chuck loves to do stuff like that. He loves to know things, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Also, it appears that Corey and Topanga from Boy Meets World did not work out. So Corey moved on to a new name and a new woman named Nicole Richie. More of a trade down, in my opinion. That's an unpopular opinion, I guess. I'm assuming that's probably an unpopular opinion on my case. I mean, Nicole Richie's beautiful, but I mean, and Danielle Fisher, she's got it. Not as much as Sarah Walker, though. I mean, come on, Sarah Walker's A plus, A plus. You shouldn't grade women. That's weird. You shouldn't grade women. Anyway, way off that tangent, that weird tangent that I just went on. Chuck is now going to dinner with some Sarah's past classmates. God, it is early in the morning, folks. It is early in the morning. You can tell. Anyway, so Jenny and Jenny's Chuck go to dinner, and at this dinner, they do what any normal people trying to catch up do. They talk to each other about the past. At least one of them does. Two of them do. Chuck and Heather are trying to talk about the past. Sarah's having nothing about it. Sarah's having nothing, and Mark is flipping his lid over there, sweating up a storm because he knows some Russian bad guys are after him, and they corner him in the bathroom. I'm assuming there's probably just a meet set up for dinner, so I mean, he probably wasn't. I don't know if he was surprised by them or not, but I mean, it didn't end up well for him. I'll say that much. So the meeting goes down in the bathroom. Weird location, yes, but also probably a good location because it's silent. Anyway, they throw Mark into the stall. Chuck comes in. He's like, "Hey, you Russian bad guys, don't kill me." Casey comes in to save the day. Bang, 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 bang. Casey beats down the bad guys. Beats them down. And then Chuck gets all the credit. I mean, Special Agent Carmichael gets all the credit. And Mad Dog gets all the credit. Just so they interview Mark to find out what he knows about the plans and stuff, and that's when the Mad Dog personality comes out, and that is just hilarious. Casey plays along really well in that case. He's sitting there, he's like, all of a sudden, he's just sitting there talking to Mark, and Mark's like, well, I won't deal with anybody but Special Agent Carmichael. Casey's like, oh, this is what I'm going to have to deal with. So what does he do? He pretends that Special Agent Carmichael is a badass, a violent badass, one that gave him a giant scar on his arm just because he took his parking spot one day. It's a good scene where the interrogation scene with him is just funny because you got Casey acting all scared of Mad Dog, and then you got Chuck being Mad Dog, giving him the stink eye for about 2-3 minutes, which I'm assuming his face was stuck like that for hours afterwards. It's probably a sad thing, but who knows? So they ascertain that a drop is going down, and they set it up for the high school reunion. Now, obviously, Sarah's not going to be happy about that because she did not have a fun time in high school. She did not like a lot of the people in her high school, as you could tell from the angry punching montage. And sometimes all you need is a good punching montage to get to free up some thought processes, I guess. So she's angry punching. Bang, 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 bang. And she's reliving her past. She's beating down a punching dummy. And then Chuck walks in. He's like, "What up? I got you a dress. It's a great dress, too. Don't ruin it." She does ruin it. But it's not her fault. It's Heather's fault. She ruins Chuck's wonderful present. Anyway, so Chuck gets her dressed and tells her the wonderful news that the drop is going down at her high school reunion and they have to go. She obviously is not happy about that, but she doesn't have much of a choice. And Chuck, the sweet guy he is, talks to her and tells her it'll be alright. He'll be there for her. And that comforting familiarity is all she needs to have a little push in the back. And she's at her high school reunion. And when they walk in, obviously the 90s nostalgia makes a full appearance with the Backstreet Boys playing, and everybody's high school yearbook photo on display. That seems a little rude that you should have high school yearbook photos on display. That's not cool. Some people don't necessarily want that. And I think the best part about that high school reunion is Casey is the DJ and he's dancing to Hanson. That is the best part of this episode. Fact. No one can tell me differently. Casey dancing to Hanson is the best part of this episode. Fact. And so they're sitting there partying. Everybody's learning a lot. Doom 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 doom. High school dance. And we come across Dick Duffy, which is a terrible name for somebody. Obviously he was a big football jock and he did the teasing, but someone probably should have teased him for Dick Duffy. Come on, that's easy pickings right there. Easy pickings. Anyway, they think it's him. It's not. He's not the Russian bad guy. He just sells that same Russian bad guy's same hand-me-down junk. But sometimes that leaves Chuck and Mark to talk, and Mark's trying to save his wife, but he doesn't understand how he got the girl. He doesn't think he actually got her. He thinks his money got her. And in this case, he's right. But Chuck says something here I like. Sometimes the nerd gets the girl. Sometimes the nerd does get the girl. But it also helps if that nerd can also make money at some point. That doesn't hurt. Now, that's not saying women are materialistic. Because that's sexist. Looking at you, America. That's sexist. But everybody loves money. That's just true. Everybody loves money. So it doesn't hurt. But I like the sentiment. I mean, sometimes the nerd gets the girl. Sometimes the charming personality works out. But anyway, the Russians show up with Sarah and Casey outside, and Chuck has to make up a plan on the fly. Impromptu. It has to develop an impromptu plan, which he's really good at because, like I said in past episodes, his ingenuity is off the charts, guys. He is very quick on his feet. He knows how to take care of situations fast, which is always a good thing. And so there you have it. And there you have it. Chuck comes up with a brilliant plan to point out the bad guys to Casey and Sarah. But we see Nicole Richie, or Heather. Well, we'll just keep calling her Heather, whatever. So we see Heather duck out. Sarah goes after her. Because as we saw in the scene previous, she's in on this. She's getting paid a lot by the Russians. So Sarah tracks her down, and they begin to fight. Bang, 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 bang. And I think it's one of the better fight sequences of the show so far, easily. And they're a fighting, and as we see at the end, they fight, and Sarah wins. They even fight in the shower because, we all know why they fight in the shower. Because sometimes to get ratings, you have to pander. And sometimes that pandering pays off. In this case, the pandering paid off well. So, after the long fight, Sarah is victorious. Now, while that fight's going on, Mark has been taken by the Russian bad guys and is saved once again by Casey. And all the credit, once again, goes to Mad Dog. And Casey can't be happy about that. So, they save Mark, beat down the bad guys, and they go back inside to see where Sarah is. She walks in, looking like hell. Looking like hell on her feet. Like she went through hell itself. Beat up. And she wins Reunion Queen. And nobody seems to notice that she looks like she just got the crap kicked out of her. No one. They're all just sitting there celebrating. Woo, yeah, go Jenny, go Sarah, whatever your name is. Go. And no one notices. Not a single person notices. I mean, how is that possible? How does no one goes, you know what? She looks different than when she came in earlier today. She looks like someone punched her in the face repeatedly. Should we help her? Should we get her an ice pack or something? But nothing. They just crown her, and everybody starts clapping. Goes about their business. But we see a nice moment between Chuck and Sarah. Chuck's happy. She's accepted her past and moved on. So Chuck goes back. Chuck and Sarah go back to Los Angeles, and they're sitting in the hotel room and they're talking about things. Chuck's being a nice guy, real nice guy, bringing her a hamburger and a hamburger patty to put on her eye so she reduce the swelling of her black eye. And Sarah's like, "Hey, you know what? You've been so sweet. You get one question about my past." And Chuck's like, "Nope, I don't need to. I can see that the past bothers you, and I don't need to talk about it." Just thereby winning more of her heart, because that's what Chuck does. He wins Sarah's heart a lot, and it's fun. And they split the hamburger, and all is well with the Team Bartowski once again. And there you have it, folks. That's Team Bartowski. There's a lot happening in this episode. We get a little bit of past from a character who needed a little bit of a past inclusion. We need to see some of her past just to see what was going on, and we got it. Now let's go to the Buy More. And Big Mike is leaving. He's going on a trip for a couple days, so that leaves the assistant manager in charge, Lester, the ass man. And Lester's like, "Well, I've got this idea. Hey, let's implement a new sales program where you just tell the customer he gets as many dollars off as you want to." So Morgan and the goons at the Buy More decide to go haywire on them. And they lose a lot of money because they're just practically giving stuff away. But I'm surprised. They were all selling stuff, and they've moved the largest volume of big ticket items in years, and they're only down $3,700. I mean, obviously that's a lot of money, but it seems like it probably should have been more the way they were giving prices away, like free computer, a bonus computer with a computer. It seems like it probably would have been a lot more than 3,700, but it is a TV show, so I'll let it slide. So, what are they gonna do? Lester is legitimately freaking out. 3,700, that's a lot of money. You gotta make up somewhere. You gotta come up with 3,700 somewhere before Big Mike gets back. So what do they suggest? A kegger. Charge $5 per head. Throw a kegger. It's not a bad idea. I mean, it works. It does work, people. So that's what they do. They throw a Buy More kegger. Who doesn't want to go to the Buy More kegger? That would probably be the greatest kegger ever. So what happens at the keggers? They get out of hand, obviously. Everybody gets out of hand at a kegger because they're all drunk. Or mostly acting drunk, probably. But they're gone, people. They're all drunk. And things get out of hand. Merchandise is spilt. Things are broken, including the Marlin. People are flipping out. And obviously there's a big mess they have to clean up. But the Buy More people decide to help out. Morgan is helping Morgan even though he shouldn't. Because Morgan's a nice guy. I mean, obviously, yes, it is his fault that they're $3,700 in the hole. But he does help out. They spend the entire night after drinking cleaning. Most of those people have to be at work in the morning. They get no sleep. They go from the party, they clean up, and then they just hop right into their work. Which has got to suck. I mean, it can't be easy. So, I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? So, they clean up the Buy More in time for Big Mike to arrive, and Lester gives a sincere apology, which I honestly didn't expect the first time I watched it. Lester doesn't seem like the person to apologize for something like this, but he seems pretty genuine, and it's nice to see Lester that way. but he also forgot the fish. So he goes to go fix the fish, and Big Mike walks in behind him. So he has very little time. Turns out Morgan's tried to fix the fish because, like I said, Morgan's a good guy. He's a true friend when you really need one, and he fixes the fish for Lester. And Lester again is very genuine in his apology. He thanks Morgan, and he really means it. So when Big Mike walks in, everything seems normal. They made a lot of money, but Lester's finally had enough. He's like, I just want my regular old job back. I don't want any of this assistant manager anymore. No more assistant manager for me. So he resigns, and we are once again assistant managerless at the Buy More. There you have it, folks. That's the Buy More Kegger story. It was a good story. It was a good episode for the Buy More. I mean, sometimes the shenanigans of the Buy More aren't as fun. Most of the times they are. This was a good one. A lot of good shenanigans happening. There we have it, folks. That's Chuck versus the Cougars. Not necessarily a big episode, but a good one. For sure. A good one. That's a lot of fun. And that's it, folks. That's all I got to say about this episode. So, I'm going to do the end credits, would you say, for this. Once again, thank you for listening. I never expected a podcast like this to get big. And, I mean, obviously, by big, I don't mean like we're getting millions of downloads and we got thousands of subscribers, but anything at all is more than I expected, honestly. I mean, like I said last episode, this show has been off for 2 years, and the fact that it still has a huge following that it does is absolutely insane. Just look at the Twitter. Just look at the Twitter look at the Twitter action going on with Chuck fans. They're all in. Everybody loves this show. It's fantastic that almost 3 years at this point since the show is over, we still have people talking about it today. Hell, I'm doing a podcast about it, and it's just a lot of fun. There's a lot of good people in the Chuck community, and it's been a hell of a ride, folks. And I'm ready to continue that ride, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep making these podcasts for you guys. Because, like I said, I mean, you're listening, which is fun, which is awesome. So, just keep it up, I guess. Keep it up. Like it, share it, review it on iTunes. That's how we get more people to Chuck. The more we review it and share it, the more people will see it, and the more people we can bring to Chuck. Maybe get some results out of it. And, I mean, I wouldn't be adverse to more listeners. I mean, everybody wants more listeners. So, there we have it, folks. That's Chuck versus the Cougars. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Paul. And remember, everybody loves Chuck. Some people, they just don't know it yet. Signing off. Sayonara.